Hello, my name is Will Bangeter and my partner is Ali Shower. We are presenting today on energy storage. Energy storage is an exciting topic that we have been able to research and learn more about. The information that we found has been extremely interesting and we look forward to presenting to you. When I think about electricity and energy, I think that it's just there. It's something that most of us take for granted. We flip a switch and we light up a room. We plug in our phones and it gets charged, or we heat food up in a microwave. It's something that we all use and something that we a lot of the time take for granted. With the future of energy storage, there are many options with improvements in technology and much more. To better understand energy storage, we must first understand the energy grid system that is in place here in the United States. Now, the electricity goes onto this energy grid system and it draws power from many different sources. It's largely dependent on the geographical area and what that area can offer. For example, there's rivers where there's hydroelectric dams to provide electricity. Sun-drenched areas like Arizona and California, have solar panels that use solar panels to create solar power. Windy areas use wind turbines to harness energy as well. There's also nuclear power plants and fossil fuel plants. The problem with these two is the question of, is the energy renewable? This begins to be an issue, especially with fossil fuels, because burning the fossil fuels emits a greenhouse gas, which traps heat and makes a planet warmer. So this can supposedly damage the atmosphere, the whole global warming deal. Another issue with the energy grid system is the struggle that it has to meet the high demands. In the days when people get home from work at that time period from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., there's a lot of demand for energy. There's lights on in the houses, appliances running, a lot of demand. And so the energy grid system doesn't have a great way to store the energy or large amounts of energy. So it struggles getting this energy out and producing enough energy for that. Whereas if during low times of the day, it could be storing energy to be used during these high peak times. So this makes it a really inefficient system. Although, it's not too often that most areas have power outages. It is also, it's a very expensive system, and it would be very expensive to create, a storage unit for the entire energy.
So, hypothetically, what would be the benefits if we were able to develop an effective energy storage system? A well-designed system would actually allow for more efficient services. As Will said in the previous slide, today's grid does not function well when demand is at its highest. This is most likely the cause of many blackouts across the country. However, if we were able to store energy throughout the day during low demand hours, then we could draw on energy later when demand is high rather than trying to play catch up as we do with the modern grid to create new energy, thus creating a more efficient, reliable energy network. In addition, if the energy system was designed the way we would expect it, it would also be more cost effective. Today, utility companies charge a flat rate per kilowatt. This means that you're paying the same price for energy whether you're using it at high or low demand hours. The new system, however, would present prices that would fluctuate depending on the demand. Personal energy storage would allow users to store cheap energy during the day to draw on at night before purchasing the more expensive energy during high demand hours. Finally, another major benefit of energy storage is that it would be much more environmentally sound. At this time, when the current energy grid falls behind on demand, utility companies call on other sources of energy, often fossil fuels, to burn more and faster to catch up to the supply. This releases millions of metric tons of greenhouse gases into the air. Energy storage would greatly limit the dirty energy by giving us a much cleaner and more reliable source.
That's right. There's going to be so many benefits from energy storage moving into the future, especially with the issues that we told you about regarding the current power grid that we are all on. And so energy storage solutions, we told you the problem. Now here is some of the solutions that are going to be coming available as time goes on. And I'll mention it now, but the smart grid technologies, which Ali will talk a little bit more about further later on in the presentation, but that'll consist of appliances running on this grid, as well as, each home will have an individual unit that will assist in saving money and saving energy on this smart grid. One exciting thing is Tesla lithium battery. So Tesla is a company that was founded in 2003 that had been creating these batteries and other motorized vehicles and whatnot. But anyways, the battery, they're able to absorb and put out energy as needed. And the technology of batteries are getting better and better as time goes on. Although batteries are still used to power simple things like flashlights and television remotes, they're now being used and built into to power motorcycles, cars, and even houses or large buildings. The technology is just unreal and how much it's growing. So Tesla takes these batteries, and on their website it says Tesla's batteries integrate with solar to harness the abundant power of the sun and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Homeowners and businesses utilize Tesla energy products to reliably increase their use of renewable energy and foster a clean energy ecosystem. And so this new concept behind the batteries will be able to help the grid, work alongside the grid to help provide a better product for the customer. And one of the new products of Tesla's is the Powerwall 2, which is actually a battery that has the capability of powering an entire 2-bedroom house for an entire day. Which, if you just think about that, is pretty remarkable. Run the appliances, keep the lights on, pump water, does everything in a 2-bedroom house. And so, thinking about that, it seems that there is a limitless future for what is capable in energy storage.
The smart grid would be the ultimate solution for energy storage in that it would be the integration of energy technology and information technology. So what exactly is it? Well, for starters, compared to the modern grid, it would be an organized network of lines drawing from many sources of clean energy. Today's energy grid is a mess of hundreds of thousands of lines which do not reach many sources of green energy. This is due to the fact that many of those sources, such as solar or wind power, are located in remote areas. This new grid would prioritize the different sources of energy to ensure that the grid is operating on as much green energy as possible. However, the smart grid's greatest feature would be the enhanced service delivered through the integration of smart houses. These smart houses would be connected to the smart grid not only to draw energy, but to also provide information. The idea behind this two-way communication would be to provide the grid and utility companies with a better understanding of how much energy is being used, when it's being used, and what for. Essentially, it would give the utility companies a better chance to personalize an energy plan for the consumer according to what the consumer uses, much like a modern cell phone plan. However, the house would have its own personal energy storage unit as well. This storage unit, or battery, would be the device used to store up the cheaper energy during the low demand hours for the consumer to draw upon later before drawing again directly from the utility company. Still, it doesn't stop there. These smart houses would also be equipped with smart appliances. These appliances would not be all that different than those that we see today. The difference is, however, that these appliances would be able to predict when energy would be at its cheapest and then begin to run all on its own. For example, your dishwasher, washer, or dryer would predict that energy will bottom out around 2 a.m. So, once 2 a.m. strikes the clock, all of your major appliances around the house would begin their cycles. This would ensure that the bulk of your energy usage would occur during low demand hours, which in turn makes your entire household that much more cost effective. Ultimately, energy storage will continue to be a major topic of discussion as long as the energy crisis continues around the world. The environment will continue to degrade, costs will continue to rise, and ultimately, more conflict will arise in unstable parts of the world. Today, the world has been operating under the same energy sources for over 100 years. That's 100 years without major innovations or steps forward, and at some point, the old ways simply won't work. It is time for energy storage to become a reality. The ideas are there, we're just waiting on our breakthrough.